Love dishes to James. Lets it go from deep. Rebound by the Clippers. And here is Hawes. And they call the 8-second violation. Too much time getting it up court.
Well, I think the NBA is in a great place with all the young talent in the league right now. We see players coming in not just with potential, but a willingness to learn and work. It's really impressive to see.
And the Clippers making a change here. Jordan's checked in. Here's Farmar. Lays it up and in on the nice reverse. Farmar's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Clippers. And for NBA players nowadays, just playing in the offseason isn't enough. They're conditioning, working on their bodies, as well as their skills. It is a 12-month-a-year job.
And that's partly driven by the fact that you can make so much money if you are in the NBA and you take care of yourself and you're able to play for a while. So you're seeing all of the world-class training facilities, guys being much more in tune to their bodies and trying to prolong their lucrative careers.
Boneheaded play, guys, plain and simple.
Yep, brain fade is what I like to call it. There's no way they're getting out of the hole making mistakes like that.
Chris Douglas-Roberts checked in for the Clippers. And Love gets it to go.
Another pass put right into the shooter's pocket, right in the shooting pocket for a terrific assist. They've done a lot of that today.
Yeah, it's something we haven't seen much of at the other end of the floor, though. That's a great shot if there's 1 second left in the game.
Yeah, that would be the good time to do it. Not now, though.
Feeds it to Bullock.
A lot of things get talked about with the NBA and the playoff structure. You know, there's been some mention about opening things up in the near future. One thought is to have more teams make it in and have a play-in round between the bottom teams.
Irving kicks to Waiters. Fires the three. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Some excellent numbers in this one for Varejao. He's got 10 rebounds and he's stolen the ball 4 times. This is something special. I mean, he hasn't missed a single shot.
It's hard to find words to describe it.
Well, Clark, addressing playoff restructuring, we know now that 8 come in from the East and 8 teams, the top teams in the West. Another change being thrown around is just taking the top 16 teams from both conferences combined and seeding them.
Don't like it. Don't like it. We tend to overreact when we have an aberration. The Suns don't get in the playoffs with 48 wins, and 2 or 3 Eastern Conference teams get in sub 500, and now you want to shake it all up. I'm not for that. The top 8 in the West and the top 8 in the East make a lot of sense to me, because it would be a scheduling nightmare otherwise if you try to
keep it as is.
And in terms of trying to have a balanced schedule,
yes,
when you go to just the top 16 teams, it wouldn't work. Geographically, I just don't think it makes sense. We got to stay where we are there.
LeBron outside. Shot clock at 6. Played in with a nice touch off the glass.
And that puts a cherry on top, so to speak, of what's been a phenomenal showing for them.
All over but the whining now, Steve.
Here's Douglas-Roberts. Kept alive. Jordan. And he was camped in the lane there, and he gets the 3-second call.
Foolish play. I mean, he's got to be thinking out there while he's playing.
Well, the lead's only going to get bigger unless they shore up those mistakes. They've got to tighten things up here.
Spencer Hawes is checked in for DeAndre Jordan. And he gets it to go. And 11 points for Kevin Love.
And we head to the final buzzer in a crushing blowout. Big-time dominance. This will go in the books as a really gaudy win for the Cavaliers.
Agreed, Steve, and as one-sided as it gets today. You know, Clark, there were some dominant moments in about every facet of this game for that team.
You're right, Kevin. It's hard to think of anything that didn't go right for them. I mean, game planning by the coaches, execution by the players, everything was spot on.
And what a huge standout performance it was. Walker Love. He affected the game so much with the way he was able to come up with steals and get extra possessions for his team. Things have kind of gone south for him here in the quarter.
Man, I don't know what happened right there. He just basically walked out of bounds.
And the dunk by James.
A little bit of a magic act here, pulling off the Houdini to make that catch and slam.
Stupendous alley-oop.
This crowd just stunned at the sight of that one.
Here's Farmar. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Well, Jordan Farmar spent a season playing in Turkey on a lucrative contract, but missed the NBA. And he came back to his hometown of LA last season playing with his old team, the Lakers. Now settled in with their crosstown rivals, the Clippers.
And Farmar battling injuries last season along with all the other Laker point guards, but when healthy, he's a player.
I agree. Athletic and with quickness to defend. He's got a pretty good mix between scoring and playmaking, too. And he's just now entering the prime of his career.
That's his first personal foul.
You know, LeBron has an interesting tradition during the playoffs. He turns his cell phone off, stops watching sports television, and instead he watches movies and reads books. That sounds like a good life lesson for all of us.
And for LeBron, that tradition started a handful of seasons ago, Clark. You'll even catch him reading books before games.
Well, you know, I've heard it said that all readers aren't leaders, but all leaders read. And LeBron James, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, autobiographies of Malcolm X, Jerry West, and even his friend Jay-Z, he has dedicated himself to expanding his knowledge. That's a good sign.
As you did. You are voracious reader.
I love to read. I've always loved to read.
Here's Farmar. Blanketed by the D. He fights to the rim for the layup.
Boy, nice work inside. Tough to get that shot over a big defender like that.
Oh, that takes skill and creativity, Steve, particularly on the release to make sure he doesn't get a hand on it.
James outside. Fades away. Misses there. And so it's Cleveland taking care of business in this one. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night, and these guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those dreamlike games for a coach.
Well, it's time to say so long. For Clark